Yo, yo, yo. What's up, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're taking a break from OS development and I want to work on a key press overlay for stream. So what I thought would be kind of fun is when I'm in Vim and I'm slamming buttons, maybe I'll open up something that I can browse around in. When I'm pressing buttons and I'm reordering things around, stuff like that. I thought it'd be kind of fun if on screen there was something showing all of my key presses, especially with Vim. There's lots of stuff that's lots of buttons being pressed, and even if it's not very useful, it might be kind of fun to just kind of show that on stream somewhere. And so I was kind of looking around and trying to see well, what does that entail? How do we do that? And it looks non-trivial. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to just quickly develop that on stream today. So let's see, what's the background knowledge that we need to get into this? Linux, when you show a window, has two kind of major graphic stacks. I'm sure you can implement any graphic stack if you wanted, but the two big protocols are X11 and Wayland. So I might have how do I say this? When I create this window, this asks kwin, KDE, the window manager that we're showing here that's drawing the windows. They have to ask him to for somewhere to draw their stuff. And what they'll do is they'll either say, hey, am I on a Wayland screen or on an X11 screen? So if I say env grep Wayland, there's a way to tell, hey, I'm on a Wayland device, and so I can ask for a Wayland window, or he might ask for an X11 window. And the reason that this is important and relevant here is because X11 is the old protocol, and Wayland is the new protocol essentially. And Wayland kind of was developed post cell phone era, and so it has a lot more of the concept of permissions and lockdown and stuff that, maybe it came from there. Maybe it came from just knowing that, it's not good for every application to be able to snoop all key presses. And so if I'm running on Wayland, which I happen to be, because I find that my gaming performance is a little better. I don't have as many problems with rendering one of my monitors at 60 FPS and another one at 144 FPS for just implementation reasons. There's no way for me to grab all keys. On X11, you can just ask the X server to show you what keys are being pressed, which is great if you're trying to do things make a screencasting tool. Not great if you want some random app you're running to not snoop your passwords when you're typing into your web browser, your bank passwords or something. So I was kind of skimming around, seeing what state of the art is for how do I get keys on Wayland or Linux in general. And I came across this thing called Screen Key, and he uses X11 features to basically get all key presses punched into the X11 window. But that doesn't work on Wayland. So I found Show Me the Key, I think is what it's called. And he basically uses this library called libinput to get key presses, which requires root, and it bypasses all of the Wayland stuff and reads the key presses kind of directly. And so I was what the fuck is libinput? I've heard that name before, but I wasn't really sure what it is. And it's this abstraction layer for all input that your desktop manager might want to use. So if I'm writing KDE, I'm looking for a specific thing I saw earlier. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, here we go. So if I'm writing a window manager kwin that I'm running right now, or GNOME or whatever, right? I'm gonna want to have a mouse. I'm gonna want to move it around. And libinput is kind of an abstraction layer around all keyboards, mice, joysticks, whatever. And then I see things like this where it says hey, the kernel has dev input event 0 and event 1, and they go to libinput. So I'm well, what the hell is input event? And it looks like this is kind of the bottom layer where all keyboard events are passed through these dev input devices. And I think that there's a program around. It's EV test or something was what I found. and you can like use this program to basically monitor events. So if I look at dev input on here, I've got like a bunch of stuff in here. And I think if I like look at them with permissions, we see that like most of these guys are not like readable by anybody except for the owner of them. So if you're like the root or in the group input, which I'm not, right? Groups, I think is the command here. I'm only in like a few select ones. And so the only thing I can really look at is JS0, which is like the joystick. So if I like ev test dev JS0, oh, sorry, input JS0. Was it ev test? Hold on. Ev test dev input JS0. Or is it JS test maybe? Yeah. Sorry. So let me just pull that up really quick. Bump, 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 bump. One sec. JS test dev input JS0. So here, if I like have my keyboard, I like start like moving my joystick around, and I can see like button presses and stuff like that. So these are like the interfaces to the kernel to like get input. And it looks like keyboards are these like event handles. And so I wanted to kind of just start looking at like, well, what should I use if I want to like get keyboard events? So somewhere I saw like a chain of blocks. It's basically like lib input might use this thing called like libevdev. Let's look at that. Which is like a library that you can use to essentially read these keyboard events from these event handles. But then I'm like trying to figure out, well, do I need these libraries? I don't know. My guess from like reading the documentations for all of them is that like lib input is kind of like high level, right? He's like, well, low level by some metrics, high level by others. If I look at like if I look at maybe this like show me the key program, when I look at like what he's actually doing, he's like creating like a lib input handle, and he has like this like concept of like a seat that he gets, and he registers like an input handler somewhere. And let's see, where is he set? Sorry, one sec. Input handler data. Oh, sorry, it's this guy, handle input. So he gets past this like handle input function, and essentially this like lib input loop runs this stuff where he like gets an event and he like converts it to a keyboard event, blah blah blah. And I was like looking at like the lib input docs, lib input API docs, and my guess from reading these was it was like a little too high level. When I look at the like, let's see, where did I look at kind of like the APIs here? Basically this guy wraps like keyboard, mouse, joystick was what I found when I was looking at this. Where do I like data structures, files? Yeah, there's like touch, tablet, keyboard, pointer. There's maybe too much. And so I was looking at like libevdev, I'm like, maybe this is a little closer, right? This guy's working around like just the event handles, and maybe that's what I want. And then I was like, well, can I just like read these devices directly? Like, what are these guys? So I spent a little bit before stream. I popped open the Linux kernel, and I thought like, let's figure out like what the fuck is happening when I use my keyboard at all. So I kind of thought, well, we can like start with somewhere that we know. We were looking at this like USB mouse driver the other day when we were implementing USB mouse support in ROS. We wanted like to use this as a reference, and I thought, well, if we look at like adjacent to this file, there's like a USB keyboard file, and he's probably going to start telling us like, well, what does like a keyboard in Linux do? Because my thoughts are that like eventually we should be able to find where this is hooked up to like user space, and we can see what is the format of that stuff. And so we can look at like the probe function here, and I've looked at this a little bit before stream, so I'm kind of cheating, but I found this like input register device. It's like, okay, so there's like an input subsystem, and I think it's like input.c somewhere. Let's see, where... Maybe I'll look for input register device. And maybe, like, void. Where am I going to find this? I think it was called, like, input.c, but there's just so many input.c's, which is kind of annoying. Is it this one? Driver's input, input.c. That looks right. So we can look up input register device. And what's like the short? How do I summarize what I found here? I poked around a little bit. And most importantly, there's this like event handle, open handle, and close handle that they pass into like the input device that they register. And let's see if I can find. Maybe the good place to look is like the USB subsystem. We know already that there's going to be like some sort of interrupt that comes in when the keyboard is pressed. So we can look at this guy and say like, well, what's he do on this like interrupt handler? And we see like an input report key, so we can kind of look at like that and say like, well, what the hell is input report key? Is that in here at all? Input report key? No, input report key. Here we go. And maybe this is like a void function. Yep, here we go. And so he like signals an event to the input system. And so we can look at like void input event. And here's probably where I found this originally. So he gets like dispatched to somewhere where we need to find that function. He does some like locking shit and maybe add some randomness, input event dispose. This is probably the important part here. Input pass values, also probably the important part here. And basically we're not really finding anything too interesting in here. So we can also look at this from the other side. I was looking at like there's also documentation, maybe input. Sorry, so let's look at here. We can look at like here is the top level docs for all of Linux for what the hell is going on in the input subsystem. And basically they talk about evdev devices and this like event interface that's held in like dev input. It's like, oh, okay, that's starting to like look like something that we've seen before. We've seen these like event handles, and we know that like keyboard events are going to come in through those from other reading that we've done online. And so can we look at like event interface? And so here he's saying like, hey, there's like these structs that you can read from dev input event X. And this is where it's starting to get like kind of interesting. So I think where I ended up was I started looking for like this like struct input event. Oh shit. Oh crap, my grep broke. Fuck. Kill all nvim. We can look for input event struct. I was in include, I think. Include, we can look for, well, let's look for struct input event. And it looks like they have this like Linux input header that has the definition of an event. And when I looked for what, evdev Linux docs online, I think I saw something like very similar here. No, not this one. This one. Basically, I found in here that there's a way to like, if you read the event device, you should see this guy, and hopefully we should be able to see, maybe figure out what these guys mean. I think that somewhere there's like mappings of keys to like numbers in here. Right, input event codes.h. So can we look at that? Input event codes.h. And so here we have like probably all of the data we need without any of these like libraries, probably, to start actually like figuring out how, like what keys are pressed. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Oopsies, did I lose my to-do list? Oh, I did. Shit. Sorry, one sec. let's pull this guy back up. Okay, so that's what I'm kind of thinking, is that probably there's enough from just using like the built-in Linux headers in order to get enough info to render keys on the keyboard on the screen. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I kind of have this like recently I've been taking the approach of saying like, well, I know that there's this library libinput, and I know there's this library like libevent or libevdev, but I kind of want to like get a feel for why those things exist before using them, right? It seems silly to pull in a bunch of like extra fluff if you don't actually know that you need it. Yeah, so that's what I think I want to try. Is I just want to try seeing if we can like parse these event codes manually, see if those match to keys, and if we can do that, then we'll know that we can like write some sort of overlay that works correctly. So the first thing to do probably is write like a little like sample script. Sample program to read keystrokes. Yeah, so let's try that. So the first thing that we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to go and we're gonna like make a little test project. So we'll just say make dir what, like fdev test, I guess. And we can maybe write like a little test program that has like int main void. And we know that we found that header that was, what was it? Input.h. So let's see if we can like use that. I think it's like include Linux input.h. And if this compiles, then we're like kind of on a good track. I don't really know if those like headers that are exposed to user space or whatever. I guess this is UAPI Linux. So is it like UAPI Linux input.h? I'm not really sure. Let's just kind of poke around and find out. So if I gcc-o test.c, that doesn't compile. Is it just Linux input.h? That compiles. Okay. So maybe we can say, what do we expect to see from that header? We expect to see an input event. So what happens if I do something like this, like create an event? Does that compile still? Yes. Okay, so we're kind of on the right track where we have the definition of this event that comes in. And they're also saying that we should be able to look at like Linux input event codes as well. So let's look at that and make sure that compiles as well. Okay, which it does, which means that like we kind of have all of the pieces we need to start actually trying to like parse an event. So the way these like input handles work is these are like called like character devices, I think. If I remember correctly. And they can have like APIs on them for you to either just like read and write to them or to like call ioctls on them, where ioctl is just like a fancy way to say like, I'll put like a formatted message in here and I'll get something out. And I think that we can check if we can see anything interesting by, we could try like catting these guys. And seeing if like we see keyboard events. Oh shit. I need root permissions for this, which I don't have on this account intentionally because I don't want to accidentally leak something on stream. Let me just take 1 second to figure out. Maybe I'll add myself to the input group for now, and that might work. Just give me like 1 sec to try to do that off screen real quick. So I think it's a G password. There's like a G pass add user to group Linux. I think it's gpassword.a or something. I can add user mod group add. These aren't the ones I've seen before. I've seen like, here, this is what I'm seeing. G password, probably -a. Man, G password. Yeah. So sudo G password, add streamer to input. Okay. I think that I'm in the input group now. If I like super user change back to myself. Oh, are we back? Oh, we're back. Whew. I don't really know why we crashed there, but let's try again. So if I change into the streamer account and I say groups, I'm now in the input group, which is cool. Is my stream alive? I'm actually not sure. Looks like we're alive. Is this from right now? Yeah, that seems okay. We're alive. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's try going back to my test thing. And now we can cat these events, but nothing's really happening. Maybe they're like, but we know that they're kind of binary events. So maybe we can do something like dd if equals dev event 0, or dev input event 0 of equals test bin. And if I start like typing stuff, he's saying nothing's copied, but maybe it's like event 1. Still nothing. How can I like maybe associate which keyboard is which? I think if I look at dev input, there's by ID, nice, and so this looks like a keyboard, 6. So maybe I can try catting this guy. Oh, cool. So when I'm pressing keys on my keyboard, it's just like fucking shit up, which is like a good indication that that's what I want. Okay, so let's look at this guy for now, just for a little test. And we can look at test.c, and we can say, let's like, no, sorry, I'm in Rust mode, trying to type let. So I think it's int f is equal to open this guy, dev input by ID this. I think man open, man to open. Cool. And then I can like read this guy after, I think. So I guess I need to include fcntl.h. And if I pass in no flags, I think that I get something that's read-only. So I'll just pass in 0 here and see, I guess. And we'll just call this like file handle, I guess. And I guess we'll maybe printf file handle is %d just to make sure. I guess we should probably just see if it failed. So return value, -1 is returned. So if file handle is equal to -1, we'll return 1, and we'll say printf file handle invalid or something. So if we compile this now, we need to include stdio, of course. And if I do this, no print, so we're good. We have the file handle, and then I think it's read? Yeah, attempts to read up to count point bytes from file descriptor fd into the buffer starting above. So I guess we can say like while read file handle into buffer. So say let buff, not let buff, sorry, car buff, no, struct input event buff. There we go. We're going to read this into buff, cast to a void star, I guess, and size of buff. And we'll say, while this is greater than 0, maybe we can print out the event. So we can say like printf event %d, and here we'll say buff.code, I think was the name of it. Okay, let's try that. So if I GCC, he doesn't like that I forgot a semicolon. He doesn't like that read doesn't exist, so I have to include unstd.h, I guess. Okay, so if I type ASDF, I'm getting 30, 31, 32, 33, which is pretty sick. And now we can look at that like input event codes header and see if that kind of lines up. So where did we find that again? We were looking at that in the Linux headers. So we can go to work Linux and look for we were in the include section or in input event codes. So we can look for key A, and that's pretty sick. We are seeing exactly what we expect to see here, where like the event codes are lining up. So that's pretty sick. I'm noticing that I have to reopen a couple things on the side of my screen. So let's pop open my to-do list again and put this up at the top. So just no title bar and frame, kind of shove this guy in the corner. And we also need the maze, because otherwise, how will you guys stay focused, you know? The content isn't good enough. We need the stream stimulator to stimulate the stream. So just give it a sec. One sec. Here we go. So this guy stays on top, and he gets no title bar and frame, and we just kind of shove him in the corner here. Solid. Okay. So I think we've kind of proven to ourselves that we have like some sort of way to read keystrokes. Not replacing the maze with Doom now. Maybe I should. That's kind of funny. I feel like the maze hits this like perfect balance of like I want to stare at it, but it's not too distracting. I think I was just like thinking back to like I would spend hours and hours and hours looking at this when I was younger, where maybe I shouldn't assume that my audience is 12 like me when I was looking at the maze, but there's something that feels good about it, so I think we'll keep it this way for now. But you're right, maybe I should have replaced it with Doom. Okay, so we found a sample program to read these keystrokes, and now I guess what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna like start making like a real application around this. So I'd like to work in Rust because that's my language of choice. And maybe it makes sense to like think about how do we want to like set this thing up. So we'll say start converting to real program. Why read and not fread? Because I couldn't remember that. Let's fread. I guess fread is C standard and read is Linux. Yeah, I guess that this is one of them is standard and one of them's Linux, I think. I'm not actually sure. So I guess yeah, I'm not there. There's no, the answer is because I don't know any better. I just started typing and ended up where I wanted to end up. You get extra buffering with fread, so it's a bit more nuanced. Yeah, that makes sense. I also wasn't sure if I like opened this guy, if it would do what I want to do. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been writing some C, so I just forgot. Okay. So I guess what I want to do is I want to start like a Rust project, and I'm thinking like, what am I going to do? I'm going to like want some form of overlay that's going to sit over top of like all the windows. Maybe it'll like sit on the side here, or maybe it'll be like on the top or the bottom. I don't really know. But I'm going to want to like open a window and probably like write the text I want to that window. So maybe I'll just start by pulling in my go-to GUI program and kind of see like GUI framework, I should say, in Rust, and kind of start moving from there and see what we get. So I think I need to pull in like a Nix environment that matches what I want. I think I have one in my GitHub. So from something I was working on recently. Does this have it? No. Maybe this guy has it. I haven't been committing them. Yeah, it was gonna be eGUI for sure. Okay, one sec. I'm just gonna also quickly go back to my other user where I do off-screen development and pull Nick's environment from here real quick. So I think I was in here. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, sorry. So just copy pasting from somewhere to have somewhere to start. I probably don't need this shit. This stuff I think is kind of, I'll keep it around, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And sure, whatever, it's good enough. Good enough. So I'll pop open my next shell and maybe start a cargo project. So maybe we'll do cargo init. Nice. And cargo add iframe, I think is what it's called. And let's just see if we can like get a little program going. So this guy is essentially a wrapper around, or the way to build an application around this GUI framework, eGUI. This is like an immediate mode GUI framework that works well in Rust. And it's just, I've tried a few of them, and this is the one I've just been using recently. I'm not going to claim that I know if it's good or not, but it feels good to me. So let's just build this and see what happens. I think this should build fine. I'm just copy pasting their like template for how you set up the app, and then I'll get moving from there. Give it a sec. Womp womp. It works well, which is a killer feature. Yeah, I mean, I will say it's my favorite GUI framework I've used so far. IAM GUI is pretty good too in the C++ world, but it's, you know, it's a similar. Okay, so it looks like he is compiling. Looks like he's compiling, and if I cargo run, don't need any of these crazy compile flags anymore. Just give it a sec. Okay, cool. So here we have an app. He's got some text in him. Great. Let me check. I'm not in the right group. If I super user back into myself to get back into the input group, will this still run? If not, we're gonna have a problem. Oh, oops. It's got multi-viewport support this week, which is pretty awesome. Oh, did it not have that before? I remember being able to open like panels, but I guess you're claiming panels and viewports are different. Okay, cool. So I've got access to like dev input event, and I've got my GUI opened up. So I guess let's just start hacking. Okay. So what these guys do is basically they're saying here in the update call, this is basically it, right? This is all you're gonna do. So every frame, it's gonna call this, and if I say like print line hello, we should see that printed just like back to back to back. If I start, yeah, I think that it's yeah, every time I like move my mouse, it renders again, and I think it's doing something smart, like it's saying like, oh, I'm only going to render when you actually interact with me, but at that point he's going to render at 60 FPS. So this gets called every time. And what you do in eGUI is you say like, okay, I'm going to like collect all of my data and I'm going to render that every frame. So I guess we're going to have somewhere in this application, we're going to be trying to read those events again. So what we should do is probably pull out the definition of the struct that we were using in our C application and just pull that in here and see if that works. Or maybe there's like a Linux, like maybe there's somebody who's generated bindings for that already for us. If I look at like Linux, I think there's like a Linux crate in Cargo, if I remember correctly. There's some, I've used something before that like just kind of defines all of the like Unix stuff for you. Maybe it's this guy. I'm just trying to see if I can like maybe dodge some of the pain of dealing with copy pasting structs in a way, because like usually what I would want to do is I would want to use some sort of like bindings generator to convert the struct into something that I can use in Rust. Maybe I should just try that. So I think there's something called C bindgen. Let's just double check. C bindgen. And I think he just automatically converts C headers into like their equivalent Rust bindings. Oh, other way. I'm looking for bindgen, not C bindgen. Other way around. C bindgen generates C headers for Rust programs. I want a Rust binding for a C header. So let's bindgen. Oh, nice. I already have it. Bindgen. And I can look for Linux headers, which I actually don't know where that is. Because in Nix, everything's in like these like weird spots where like usually it would be in like user include Linux, but there's just like nothing there. So I think I just have to find out env grep C flags maybe. Linux. Shit. Oh, that's gonna be such a pain. It registers when the mouse is moving. What if the mouse is stationary and the person tries to click? Yeah, it's just like it renders on interaction essentially. Nix Linux include path. Or I guess I'll just copy paste the struct out. What a pain. What a pain. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, because if I like search for Linux in here, I don't see anything. So I guess for now we'll cheat. And I know that we have the headers already in the Linux thing over here, so I'll just pull these guys in. Fuck it. I think that probably these should be pretty damn stable, because otherwise, like, programs will break. So it should be safe for me to just copy paste these. So let's just copy this and put it in here. And is this what I want? Ugh, maybe this is going to be too much pain. Fuck it. I'm just going to copy paste it. That's fine. It's fine. Usually I would be a little bit more... Where is my... Here we go. Usually I'd be a little bit more clever about this, but I don't want to. Is the extent of it. Okay, so this is going to be repr C. And I guess we don't know which one. Oh, fuck. Let's think. I guess we'll just figure it out. We'll figure it out. We can maybe in the C code, in our test C code, we can maybe check the size of this guy. So we'll say printf size of input event is this, and we'll say size of input event or buff. And gcc-o test. He wants an LD, not a D. Oh, oops. I got out of the case where I have access to this. So su streamer, type my password, and run the file again. So it's size 24, which means this is 2, 4, 8, and so I have another. Sorry, this is 2 bytes, 4 bytes, another 4 bytes for 8, and so I need 16 bytes in front. which seems like a lot, but that's okay. So we'll just say pad is U64-2. Here we'll say type is a U16, and we'll say tip, because we can't use type because it's receiver keyword. Code is a U16, and value is a signed 32. I guess these need... Why is does he think that these aren't right? Is my syntax wrong here? Oh, this is... Maybe I've forgotten my array syntax. There we go. Sorry. It's been a second. Switching it back and forth between C and Rust is like breaking my brain. Okay, so now we're going to try to do the same thing in our like Rust application where we read the input events and just see if those match up. So we can do our test.c. We can pull this path back over here. We can say let f is equal to file open, oops, this. I've been being lazy lately and pasting the structs into ChatGPT and it'll do a great job. That seems pretty reasonable. I bet it would actually be pretty good at that. You've got an example here. Wow. Oh, that's kind of cool. He generates the like getters as well. Nice. I don't know if this is right. But maybe it is. I'm gonna leave the one that I manually generated for now. Because this looks like complex enough that I'm not sure. It's got these like config things in here. Oh, that's interesting. So he says if I'm 64-bit and I'm Linux. That's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna skip that for now. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I have this file and I open it and then I want to read it a bit. So I can't remember. Rust read Rust, I guess. So I guess file probably implements IO read, if I remember correctly. File open, he results in a file, and the file implements file ext read. Here we go. Yeah. So here I use std fs file. Yeah. fs file and IO read. Is my language server running? Ah, he thinks that Rust Analyzer isn't available, which is going to be kind of annoying. Can I fix that? What does my shell say here? I have Rust Analyzer. Am I just not in the shell again? God damn it. God damn it. Give it a sec. Okay. LSP info. Here we go. Okay, so now it's running again. And now I'm getting perfect. So I have file open, and then I think this is be mutable, and I'll just say like f read. So this reads into a buffer. And I guess I need to do like some tricky shit to do some like buffer to struct cast. Is that allowed here? In C, it was simple. I just read directly into the struct that I wanted. But can I like Rust read into struct? What do these guys do? They read exactly that size. Oh, I see. They convert the thing into a slice of that size. Yeah, okay. That works for me. So we can say let buff is equal to input event new. I guess this should be called an input event for Rust namings. And I'll say input event. We'll make a new function that returns an input event. And he just is probably going to be like fucking empty. I don't know. Pad 02 type 0 code 0 value 0. I guess really what we should actually do is we should use a maybe on init, which I think is, oh, but you're not allowed to use read with maybe on init. Fuck. Okay, whatever. We'll do it this way for now. And we'll say he's mutable, and we'll say let event buff is equal to, and what did this guy do? He basically just pointer cast it, right? He said slice from raw parts mute. Yeah, essentially this. Slice from raw parts mute, and we say mute event as mute thing as mute q8, and the size is core mem size of input event. And this needs to be unsafe, of course. And then we do while, we'll do a loop. We'll say event. We want to read into the event, so we say f.read exact, which this is claiming doesn't exist, but we'll figure that out in a second. And this goes into event buff. And then we're going to want to read the event. And we'll drive debug on this guy. Okay. So he's mad because this isn't unwrapped. That makes sense. And everything else seems sane. So if I cargo run, he doesn't like this semicolon. And I think that we should be back in the state where ASDF, I'm getting codes ASDF 30, 31, 32, 33, which match up what we wanted to see before, which is pretty sick. Pretty sick. Okay, so we've got our key presses. And now I guess what we want to do is we want to like show those in Rust. So I guess what's like the real way to do this? I guess our GUI is running, this guy's like a blocking call to run our update loop. We could take two approaches. We could either start a thread that reads key presses and forwards them into like this queue that the GUI will process, or on each frame, we could try to read from the file. Now, where it gets a little tricky is, as we noticed before, we were only getting like GUI updates when we were interacting with the GUI. But what if we want to force the GUI to update even when we're not interacting with it, which is what we're going to want to do eventually, right? We're going to want this like sitting on the side, and it's going to just be like showing us key presses whether or not we're interacting with it. eGUI has this like way to do that where you can like request a frame update whether or not something's happened. I can't remember where it is though. I've seen this before. It's probably on the context somewhere. Maybe it's hold on, let's generate docs. Cargo doc open, I think, is what I want to do here. Womp, 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 womp. Man, that's a lot of dependencies. We'll live. Okay, so did it open? It did, and we can look at eGUI. eGUI context, I think it's under. Fuck, I clicked the wrong thing. Context. And these are like wake, request, repaint. This will work on eFrame. If you call from outside the UI thread will wake up and run, provided the eGUI integration has set that up via this guy. Set request repaint callback, which he says is from eFrame. So probably, maybe it's like the E-frame context. Is that? I have the eGUI context and the E-frame frame. So maybe it's on the frame. Frame. Storage, info, repaint. Maybe I do just call eGUI context request repaint. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I am going to, in one thread, just read from this character device, and when I read stuff, then I will forward that. I will like request a repaint from the app and forward the character over. So let's rename this to say like, we don't want just like my eGUI app. We want like printer or key printer or something. Or maybe I'll just call it app. App seems fine. I just don't like the idea of it being called my eGUI app like the demo said. Okay. And inside, he's going to have what? A reader of those things. So channel in the Rust standard library is probably what I'm looking for. Multi-producer, single channel, sender receiver. So I'm going to use stood, sync, MPSC, self, receiver. And do I need to import sender? I think probably not. And I also want thread. I actually don't remember. Maybe it's just thread. Okay, and so we'll say function reader thread. And he takes in a TX, which is a sender, so I do need that. And he's going to send input events, I guess. Maybe he should send something like parsed, but send input event seems fine. And he's just going to do the shit. Except here, he's going to say tx.send event unwrap. Eventually, we'll have to fix the sender error handling, but for now, we'll just do this. And that seems okay. So now we're going to say let txrx is equal to MPSC channel. And we're going to spawn a thread. So we'll say let t is equal to thread spawn. And we're going to pass in reader thread tx, like this. And we're going to say we're going to move the thing in. And do I have to unwrap this? I don't remember. What does this guy return? A join handle. Nope, we're good. Okay, and then the app here, he's going to take in the reader of receiver, sorry, of input events. And here he's going to say Rx is receiver input event. Okay. Cool. Which means here we need to say app Rx instead of default. Which means that we can't derive default anymore here, but that's okay. And here we need to create our app and pass in Rx. Cool. All right, so it looks like that compiles. And now I guess on each update, we're going to try to update the current queue of letters that have been pressed. So maybe we'll say pressed keys is a double-ended vector, I guess, makes sense here. And maybe we store the events. I guess maybe we're only going to store the codes for now. I doubt we care about the rest. Maybe we'll find out we care about those later. We need to use collections vectq. We'll say pressed key codes here. On each frame, we're going to have to check what buttons were pressed. Can you set your Vim gutter to always be shown? The constant shake hurts my eyes. What do you mean? What's shaking? Am I missing something? It looks totally static to me. Is it maybe like a compression artifact from like alt tabbing? Yeah, sorry, not sure what you mean. If you explain a little further, maybe we'll maybe I'll take a second look. Okay, so pressed key codes is going to be a vec dq new. And on each frame, we're going to try to receive something. So we'll say let some item event. It's the error hints on the left side. I forget the options. Oh. I've actually never noticed that. But yeah, now that you say that, that is, holy shit, that's annoying. Oh no. I'll find it for you. Thank you. Yeah. Gutter. Set sign column equals yes. There we go. Okay, so it's like hiding the things after, but at least it's not wobbling around. Thank you. That's helpful. Okay, so we're gonna try to try to receive something from here. And this is going to return a result thing. So we'll say, well, let OK event is equal to self try receive. We say that we push that into the back. So self pressed key codes push back the value that we get. So we'll say event.code. And I guess maybe we are actually going to want to convert this to a string. Maybe. We'll see. So we push the code back. And then what? Then we're going to want to render the thing. So we're probably going to want a label of some sort. I guess we can say this vec dq is this thing that it's basically two vectors back to back. The idea is that your normal vector is memory, right? And you have this guy's a fixed location, but the end can grow, right? Boom, boom, boom. I put the stuff on. Great. If I want a double-ended vector where I can push and pop, I think what they do is they actually just make two vectors. And when you push stuff onto the start, it pushes here, and when you push stuff onto the back, it pushes here. And so you have two contiguous areas of memory, but that are the two ends of the vector. And so I don't have a stable buffer here. I have two buffers that I have halves of or something. So I think that there's probably a way for me to pull out those two ranges and then just render those directly. But I guess that actually doesn't matter. I was going to say that would let me just render a label twice. And that's if these guys were queues of characters. Which I think is sane. So here all I want to do is I want to push this code to character probably. And I need to make a function do that. So it's going to take in a U16. And we're going to return character out of that. And then I'm pretty sure that a vector of characters will convert nicely into something that I can, a label that I can render in eGUI, and that'll work fine, I think. We'll see. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, and we'll figure out what works. Okay, so we have that input event codes. And for now, let's just go like this. And copy every single button, every single key that could be pressed. And here's what we'll do. We delete the first word. We go to the end of it. We go like this. We delete the thing. We go back and we paste that over here. That turns into a match statement that's going to say key something. And I guess we're going to want to delete the key prefix and convert this into a string. I made a mistake here where I need to delete everything here. Fuck. We were close. 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 Okay. We're going to try this again. So I'm going to create a Vim macro. Delete word. Delete this stuff. Go to the end of the thing. Go one character to the right. And delete to the next word. Delete to the next word again. Ah, fuck. We were close. We were close. We were close. there's a good reason to do this, because once I make this like a macro that works correctly, then I can just apply it to all of them. So I'm going to record a macro. Delete word. Delete word. Delete, 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 delete. Put this in quotes. Delete to the end of the word. Go back. Paste it. Put a match thing. And delete word. Okay. I think that does it. Yeah. So let's just like run that like 30 times. Uh-oh. My Vim's not liking it. Oh, okay. So that macro is slow as fuck. I guess let's try something different. Let's try using visual mode to get here. And what is this? I'm just gonna smoke these. What, like, those aren't words? Are these keys on a keyboard? Here, like, what is this? Oh, Japanese. I see. Because I'm right. Because I speak English, but everybody in the world doesn't speak English, obviously. I guess I'll just delete the ones that I don't care about, though, because I am me. And so, here we go. Cool. This crate just has all the codes. That's cheating, though. That's cheating. Oh, it also just has them defined. Oh, you're saying that if I have them defined, then I can... I'm trying to map them to, like, letters. So I think that what I was doing makes sense. Let's try doing this again, but, like, in a way that's faster. So I'm recording my macro. I'll start at the beginning of the line. I go to there. I put this in quotes. I delete word, delete and back, paste, arrow. Fuck, I was so close. Quote, delete word, delete to the end of the word, back, paste, arrow, comma, here we go. Okay, that looks like it's gonna work faster. There we go, just give it a sec. That's working okay. I guess, like, how many of these do I really need? We can always... this fucks up with comments, great. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna delete the rest of these, just for now, because it doesn't actually matter. I'm just trying to test. And anything that's not implemented, we'll figure out later. So we'll say match code. And a lot of these guys are missing the trailing comma, so we'll just quickly fix that. And it turns out that these aren't necessarily going to return a single character. I guess, like, this guy is. This guy's an equals. This guy is a... I wonder if, like, backspace and tab... Like, I'm gonna have to find characters for all of these. I guess I'll leave them like this for now. And I guess here we'll say this actually returns a string with a static lifetime. And each of these guys now gets a little tricky because I want to just be able to, like... I want this to be seen as, like, one chunk of... Like, how do I say this? In order for eGUI to render these as a label, I think I'm going to need, like, a contiguous buffer. Let's see. So to create a label, I have to convert it into widget text. And widget text can be any of these guys. So who implements into widget text? Impl from string, rich text, layout job. Stir string. Okay. Is layout job something that we can do? We can have sections. Okay. So I guess if we have this layout section that has a format inside, where's, like, the text that gets associated? Here. Do I just have to... I'm trying to see if I can avoid copy pasting all of this text every time. But in reality, it probably doesn't matter. Complete text of this job is a string. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe it's fine. What's like in a galley? We have like a bunch of job. We have one job, rows. Yeah, okay. So we'll just say that we'll just render the string on every frame. Fuck it, I don't care. I don't care. So he is in fact gonna have the U16 in here. He's gonna have a queue of U16, and we're just gonna say, I guess for now we'll say for code in self.pressed keycodes. We're going to add a label of code to car code. That's just what we're gonna do right now, just for a little testy. We probably also want to limit how many codes we're going to show at once. So we're going to say, while self-pressed key codes length is greater than like 20 or something for now, we're going to say self.press key codes pop front. Just get those guys out of there. And the last thing that we have to do is we have to inject the like waker from this guy into our thread. When I read something, I have to like request repaint over here. Hey, what distro is this? Just NixOS. It's one of those ones where, like, if you're using Vim, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you see it and you like it, then it's pretty cool, right? It's like, if you're asking, should I use NixOS? It's probably not for you. But it's kind of fun because like your whole OS is like defined in one file, and you can like back it up in Git. You can like git log your whole OS, and like pretty fun, pretty cool. I'm a fan. Okay, so this guy has to like get a handle to the creation context and somehow, or not the creation context, probably just the context. So somehow, I guess I need to make like a one-shot channel. Do they have, I can't remember if they have like one-shot channels here. Channel in Rust. No, I guess we can also just like store it in static namespace and mutex lock it. We'll say, we'll pass in a receiver of, what is the guy called? Request repaint. Wrong window. Request repaint. He needs an eGUI context. Is there like a static thing in eGUI to get the context? eGUI context. No, not really. So he just passes this in update. Yeah, okay. So here on update, I guess we can try to check if we've ever sent this before. We're only going to send this one time. So here we'll say this is going to be an eGUI context. And the first thing he's going to do is he's going to wait for the context. And here he's going to say ctx request repaint. Easy. Now, we need to create that channel. So we need to slightly rename these. So we'll say keycode tx and keycode rx are here. And we'll say context tx and context rx are here. And so he's going to say, I'm going to get the keycode tx and the context rx. And here he's going to get the keycode rx and the context tx. Is this really the best way to do this? I'm surprised if it is, but you know, it is what it is. So we have a sender of eGUI contexts. which means that he has a... Does my creation context have the context inside? Wrong window. Creation context. So he does have the eGUI context inside. So I can just... I don't need to store him in here. I can just say tx and cc eGUI context clone. Like this. And unwrap. Okay. So he now can request the repaint. He is going to send this guy. He's got to clone him. Which means that this guy, I guess, oh, we'll just do it this way. We'll make the new event on each iteration of the loop. And here we need to say this guy goes to unknown. And I think we're ready. So if I cargo run this guy now, and I like open the eGUI window somewhere and I just start typing somewhere else, we are seeing something. We were seeing a bunch of extra shit, but we're getting close, right? Like if I'm typing in here, we're seeing the numbers or in the letters typed, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. So what's next here? I want to filter out all of the garbage ones. So I'm assuming that this type field almost certainly tells me if I'm like supposed to be looking at a key, and almost certainly I'm just parsing things that aren't keys as keys. So in input.h, does this guy have types for the keyboard? No, maybe input event codes. Event types, here we go. We're looking for EV key. So here we'll just say if event buff.type is not equal to, if event.type is not equal to 1, continue, and we'll just say, I guess const ev key is a u16 is equal to 1, and we'll say from input event codes.h. There we go. You can also send an ioctl to map out the type, mask out the types you want. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's probably just like better. Probably better. Oh, this is the crate I was looking for before, by the way. This Nix crate. This crate's actually sick. He handles a lot of shit for me. I bet you that this guy just has like fdev event fd. Yeah. So he maybe not. I kind of assumed that he had event stuff in here. Event driven APIs. Input maybe? Does he have input? Oh, maybe not. But he does have a way for me to send an ioctl, so I will consider that. It might be easier for me to just avoid that for now. I also don't know, does the ioctl apply to all readers of the character device or only me? I'm actually not sure. Ioctl, all readers. Is this a... No, I'm pretty sure they're related to my specific file descriptor. I'm almost positive. We could check, but excuse me, dog. I'm gonna roll you over. Can you please move? Thank you. Okay. I'll keep that in mind, but for now, I'm just gonna filter them here. Because I don't want to pull in that extra complexity yet, but I think you're right. I think I probably will do that. So I'll probably write fix me ioctl to filter on read. Do you have any Rust book recommendations? So I'll be honest, the first time I've ever read a book on programming was like the other day when I was doing USB implementation for my operating system. Before that, I've always just been a proponent of try shit and then Google when you don't get it. And just do that loop forever and ever until you understand. But I understand that other people prefer books, so maybe chat has some recommendations for you, but not me, unfortunately. Okay, so here, hopefully if I rerun, let's see. Oh, that looks better. I'm seeing key ups as well. Every key press is turning into 2 key presses, but that's pretty close. Also interesting. So on my computer, I have Control and Caps Lock swapped. So if I'm pressing like Control C here, it's rendering as Caps Lock C, and that's gonna be a problem later. I guess I don't know how I'm gonna handle that because I think that's like a Kwin level thing I've done, or not Kwin, like a I think I've done that like here somewhere. Yeah, like in the settings for KDE, I've asked it to swap control caps lock, so it is kind of odd. Like from the perspective of someone who's reading keyboard events from Linux, they shouldn't know about that. So I'm gonna have to think about that. But for now, I'll probably just hardcode it because this is for stream. Will you attempt to support Wayland with this? I am supporting Wayland right now. I recall that Discord push to talk doesn't work on Wayland. Yeah, I was actually reading about that yesterday when I was trying to decide how I want to implement this. I saw this funny thing. Push to talk fix Discord, I think. I saw like this exact thing. Wayland. Was it Git gist? Or GitHub? Anyways, I saw someone like basically do exactly what I'm doing here, where they like parsed the evdev codes and then they just forwarded it to the Wayland server that Discord was running in. There's also this thing that I saw the other day when I was Googling called XGG portal global shortcut. So this guy is like came later in the game, but he's essentially this like dbus API that you can ask for. Where you can like call this like dbus call to be like, hey, I'd like a global shortcut, and Plasma I think supports it. Plasma global shortcut XGG portal. Anyways, there's a way, yeah, here, source global shortcuts. There's this like API that you can call on some window managers to ask for them. So Discord could implement that if they wanted to. I think. What's the refresh rate of your monitor? I can feel the smoothest on my 60 Hz display. It's 144 Hertz. I've heard that 240 Hertz, like the upgrade from 60 to 144 is like night and day. Like I thought that I got like a full computer upgrade when I did it. But I've heard the upgrade from 144 to 240 isn't really that great. But 144 Hertz, I would 100% recommend it. It's massive. Especially if you game like first-person shooters. Holy shit, it's so much different. What was I doing? I actually can't remember. I had control caps lock. I have key up. Right. So probably somewhere in here, the event API will tell me if the key is going up or down. Probably, I would assume. So if I have like type, code, and value, I would assume value is going to be the one. That's just like guessing, but we'll see. So let's maybe like print out as well the value here. So we'll just print line the event here. Does it make a difference for coding? Hell no. but it makes a difference for when you wiggle the window around. So I can see here that the value is oscillating here, and it's 1 when I press the key down. So I wonder where I should find if that's like defined anywhere in here. Values. Auto repeat values. Maybe I will look at the input header. Maybe this guy will have value. It does seem like I don't see anybody writing it. I wonder if the Linux kernel docs will tell me. Linux kernel docs evdev. You ever use any of the KDE libs? Haven't. Actually, maybe I have. I've used. I'm trying to remember what it was called. No, I'm blanking. Maybe Sonnet? for spell checking. I've used this before. I'm trying to think. I've definitely used another one as well, but I'm blanking. And I don't remember if I liked it or not. It was a while ago. Okay, what am I looking for? I'm trying to see if there's any way that I'm supposed to know that value 1 maps to key down and key up. So evdev key down value. Maybe that will... Yeah, so value, where... It's like, so like, where does this come from, right? They're claiming key up, key down, key hold. But I don't know where those come from. Key hold? Did I see that somewhere? Maybe I did. Hold. Repeat? Repeat. No, I don't know where I saw it. Oh, rep delay, rep period. This is what I was seeing, but that's not it. Yeah, okay. I guess we'll just assume that we understand this. Well, understand is strong. We'll say, I guess we'll just say, and event dot value is equal to value key down, and we'll say value key down is a use 32, I think, and we're gonna say it's 1, and we'll just comment here from here. Value is the event that the carries either a change rel for evrel, evabs, or evkey release. Oh, was that in the input.h docs? Did I just not read closely enough? Value, where are you seeing that? Evab, evkey. Oh, was it in the Linux kernel docs for this guy? Yeah. Good eye. You are correct. Nice. I knew I saw it somewhere. So we'll just paste this guy in here. Fuck. And we'll quote this from this. And then this const comes down here like this. Good eye, thanks. Okay, so this guy has to be an I32. And other than that, I think we're chilling. Let's see, so cargo run. And we go over here and we just start, oops. I'm supposed to skip this if it's not equal to key down, not if it's equal to key down. I'm literally printing everything but what I want. Okay, so here, ASDF. I'm still getting duplicates. Why? Oh, it's because I'm doing an and again. God damn it. Or. I should be doing or. There we go. Okay. Come on. There we go. So I'm not seeing repeats, but I think that I probably don't want repeats. Probably. If I'm like holding a key down, do I want to display that? Maybe I do, but we can figure it out. That's pretty sick though. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now probably what we want to do is we want to make this like text big and we want it to like be in a transparent window. So we'll probably call this like program to log key presses. And here we're looking something like overlay transparent window or something. I could repeat an ellipsis, I could print an ellipsis or something like that. Yeah, I might also want to like keep a map of things that are held down. Like I might want to log downs and ups and just ignore the repeat. And like maybe show at the bottom of the screen, keep all keys that are pressed at once as the most recent thing or something. Not really sure. We'll have to think about it. Okay, so I think I actually didn't check this, and I should have before we started. Does eGUI even support transparent windows? So I think that when we create our window, we're supposed to ask for what's it called? This calls into like this like window initialization library, and he asks for like an OpenGL context and an OpenGL surface. And I think at that point you can ask Wayland to give you a transparent window. I think. So I'm assuming that that would be on creation here, which passes in a creation context. And I think that somewhere you're supposed to be able to like set parameters on this creation context because it won't actually create the window until after this. I think. I'm really like, oh, or maybe it's in this run native section. Here we go. Native options. This is the one. This is the one. Native options. This looks like it. So viewport, vsync, multisampling. Certainly one of the many things in here is if I want transparency. Haha, yes, 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 yes. So here I can say native options dot viewport with transparent true. And I said like native options viewport is equal to that. And so I should like smack this with a mute. And now if I run this, do I get a transparent window? That doesn't look transparent at all. Fuck off. Okay. eGUI overlay. This looks interesting. It also does the event pass-through thing, so it doesn't intercept mouse. Oh, that's pretty cool. How does that work? What does he do? What does he do? So he creates a OpenGL backend, no decorations, floating. Does he add like transparency? Yeah, he asks GLFLW for a transparent window. Okay, well, I want to see if I can get it done here first, because I don't really, the event pass-through thing, so it doesn't intercept mouse, that sounds pretty interesting too. I was considering that approach where you could open up like a full screen window and just like pass all events through it, but I think that I prefer the asking Linux instead, but we'll see, we'll see. So why is this transparent viewport not happening? I guess there's a few things that could be happening here. One is that I could be on X Wayland, and X Wayland might not support transparency. That would be surprising to me, but it's possible. Another option is that it doesn't support this at all. So probably what I want to do is I probably want to look at like where is this code going in eGUI and see if it's like stubbed out or something, because I think I've seen that before. So let's see here. So we're gonna look at eFrame. He's going to, maybe I'll just pull out this whole code base. GitHub eGUI. And I will say that this is part of the reason that I like this project specifically, is that it's extremely easy for me to like get into the code and just look. I think I only need the most recent. And here, can we look for like eFrame? I guess we'll browse with our eyeballs. So we want create eFrame, and he has like lib, I guess. And in here, what are we calling? We're calling run native. What's he do? He has like a renderer, blah, blah, blah. We're using Glow, so he's using native run Glow. Where Glow is their like, basically OpenGL abstraction layer. I already forgot what the API was called, so I probably should have used my brain and like noted that a little bit. So we'll go back. Run native Glow. Run Glow. Native run Glow. Native run Glow. Here we go. And so who gets the WinApp? Glow Winit app. Cool. So where does he come from? Super Glow integration Glow Winit app. And And somewhere here, he must try to create a window. So he passes along the native options. Load window settings, init builder, native options. This is looking pretty promising. So let's look at API integration and viewport builder. And does he use the transparency? What am I calling? I'm calling with transparent equals true, which sets something. He says self.transparent. Okay. Gluten window context new with the window builder. This is probably what I'm looking for. Is this worthwhile? Is this how I want to debug this? It seems relevant. API apply window settings. Window settings, which is a winit window. So I guess what we're actually looking for is if winit supports that, which means that we have to pull that guy out. The docs on with transparent have some hints. Ooh, good eye. With transparent. If this is true, writing colors with alpha different than 1.0 will produce a transparent window. On some of this is more a hint for the system. Oh, I actually probably haven't set the alpha at all. So probably have to set the background color. Good eye, good eye. So theme probably is who I'm gonna want to look at. Theme, was that with theme? So we only have dark and light themes. Can I set like the background, the default background color? Oh, this is the wrong, I'm in the wrong window, fuck. Can I, where is my history? Do I have, here we go. Color, background, like, theme. I know that there's a way for me to like define clear color. Ooh. Background color for the app is what is set to GL clear color. Ah, so here, visuals. This is what I'm looking for. Ah, it's called style, not theme. So here, one of these many guys should probably be the clear color, right? This guy gets the clear color from RGBA unmultiplied. Oh, this isn't used. So where does this guy come from? This is, oh, on my app. I just set the clear color. Nice, 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 nice. So function clear color. Self visuals, and he takes in a eGUI visuals. He returns F324, and I can just write 0.0, 0.0, 0.0, 0.0. Good eye. This is never used, theoretically, and because this isn't in the implementations over here. Cool, and if I go to run now, let's give it a quick little peeksies. Still gray. If I put in, like, maybe the style is still getting set for everything else, though. Let's see if one of these window fill. This looks promising. Let's try setting that. So where does these like visuals come from? Oh, I guess what we can try is also, if we don't run any code in our update loop and don't render anything, will we still see a clear color maybe? Because maybe it clears and then renders the thing. Ah, yeah, look at that. Okay. So that's a really good sign that like transparency is working. So probably what's happening is he's rendering like this like clear color. Then we create our panel and he fills this transparent window with something else. We just have to turn that off. Which is probably part of their like style. So probably here on creation, we can say cc.style or eGUI ctx.style visuals window fill set window fill. There's probably something in here to like override. I can just edit it. Window fill is 0. So this is a color 32, which is eGUI color 32 transparent. It looks like exists. So this is actually something that's like an arc, which is annoying. So can I style mute instead of style? Oh, and this takes in a function that mutates the style. So we'll say style like this. Okay. So maybe that's enough to get us something that like has a transparent background. No, not quite. We just have to figure out which of these like many settings on the style is the one that sets it. Because I'm like positive that this is the guy, so. And I'm pretty damn sure that visuals is what I'm looking for as well. BG. Extreme faint BG color, extreme BG color, window fill, window stroke, window rounding. It must be one of these BG colors. I wonder how I can check. I could probably look at the central panel thing and see what he calls. So he has like this like layer ID background. So he's probably like pre-setting all of this stuff and then later we'll actually render it. So I think it's like not trivial to just see like what color is he using. Panel fill, that looks like it. That looks promising. So let's just try this as well. We'll say panel fill, because that's a panel. That's what we called it. All right, using Zorg or Wayland. Depends on the day. Right now we're using Zorg or Wayland, but sometimes we need to use Zorg for QEMU to work correctly. Okay, there we go. That's pretty cool. So here we're definitely seeing a transparent window and things rendered on top. And now what we also want is we want it to be borderless. So I think we can just say here, we can say border with client side decorations with decorations false. And hopefully that gets rid of the window border. Okay. Oh, okay, sick. So we do have this window with no border that's rendering text, which is pretty sick. Pretty sick. Have it at the top part of the screen, sorry. Oh, no worries, no worries. Okay, so we're really damn close to what I wanted. We are, in fact, showing... Yeah, we're showing key presses coming in a transparent window. And so I guess the last thing to do is like styling of some sort. So probably, we're actually probably going to want like not completely transparent, right? Because either we have to like outline our text so that it's visible on anything, or make it so that the background's not like perfectly transparent. So probably what we're going to do is we're going to say like, color 32 from RGBA from, what's the difference between unmultiplied and pre-multiplied? sRGBA unmultiplied pre-multiplied alpha. That's it. Oh, because there's like this like stacking shit when you, right. That's, but what is the difference in like their implementations? So pre-multiplied, it gives A. Unmultiplied, it adds gamma. I see. Okay. So we'll just say it's pre-multiplied because I don't want to think about it. And we'll make it black on the background with an alpha of like, I don't know, 0.5. Let's just kind of see what that looks like. Oh, and these have to be, oops, 0, 0, 0, and 127. And do we have to set the same for the window fill? Probably not. If the window is completely transparent and the panel is half transparent, we should see total half transparent. Okay. So yeah, we can do something like that, and then we can make the text bigger, bolder, and brighter. So probably they have something for that already. So probably on like their style or visuals. They probably have like text font, maybe. Context set fonts. Interesting. So probably like when we create a label, does our label have like a font associated with it? Yeah, you can create a rich text with a specific font. And so probably we want like to pick a bold monospace font. So where's font ID? How the fuck do these like font IDs work? What did that guy do here? He used, oh shit, I lost it. He used font ID : proportional. What is like font ID? Font. So he takes in a font ID, and this guy just had like proportional. Oh, here. Oh, I see. So these guys just like create something based off a family. Okay. And the family, I can ask for, oh, I see. So they're using like defaults. They're using defaults. So what I probably want is I would like to just be able to pick the name. Oh, here. Sick. Okay. And then how do I make it like bold? Does that come from rich text, maybe? I put the text with a font, with the text style. These are like more usages, but I want it to make it bold, stronger color. Are any of these bold? Strong must be the same as bold, right? Maybe. I don't know. Color, size, underline. Maybe I also don't need to be bold. Maybe I just set the size to be large. Okay. So let's pull in use eGUI rich text. And where I am writing out these guys, instead I will say let label text is equal to rich text new with code to car. And then we say font I forget where did I set the font specifically. Was it in font or font family? Font ID, font family name. Yeah. Okay, so here I set the font family. Where was I? So font family. Did I not see a font family thing on the rich text? I could have sworn I saw family on here. Oh, I just write family. Font family name. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. My language server crashed. I hate when this happens. So I was writing family, and this guy is a font family, so we import eGUI font family. And name, we want maybe hack into. I think that's the font I've been using as of late. He doesn't like that there's a missing thing somewhere. Okay, so that guy has to say code. This is into with a capital O, so he's a lowercase o. And we probably also want to set the size to like 40 or something massive. And let's try rendering that instead and see what that looks like. We're probably also going to want to set the color, but oops. So he doesn't like that because hack is not bound to any fonts, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure that's the code. Like, I'm pretty sure if I like set font, how do I, or where does like, where would that be written? Maybe I'm just not using that. I thought I was. How do I check what font my TTY is using? Maybe that's just in, like, I thought that I was using font. Maybe I'm not. Font management. Preview fonts. Yeah, it's installed. Maybe I need to use a capital H. Did I try that already? I can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, weird. Cat alacrity config. The fonts will be case sensitive. Config was alacrity. Where's my alacrity config? Alacrity config. I can't remember. It's been a while. Installation, features, configuration. XEG config home alacrity. Yeah, maybe I just don't have one. Maybe I'm just using the default. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, okay. Whatever. We'll just use we'll just let it pick its default monospace one, I guess. That's fine. That's fine. And can we set the color as well to like eGUI color 32 white or something? We'll just do this for now. We can always come back. Hey, that's not bad. And then I guess the last thing that we probably want to do is maybe set this to like be the, like, it's not showing the last thing I pressed, which is kind of annoying. So I guess what I actually want to do is I want to make sure that I'm showing like the bottom. So I think I have to set like on eGUI, I have to set up a container to make sure that I don't go past the edge. And I think that I was like scroll areas, which isn't really what I want, right? I kind of want like an unscrolled area. So let's see if they have like containers, an area on the screen that can be moved by dragging, a drop down, a frame, resize window, panel, pop-up, scroll area. I guess scroll area is the closest, and maybe I just make a scroll area that can't be scrolled. That might be the way that you're supposed to do it here. So we can set a max height, and I can auto shrink. For each axis, should the container area shrink if the content is small? That's not what I want. I want it to like never get bigger than a certain area. eGUI scroll, like scroll area disable scrolling. Is that stupid? I guess we could also just manually check. Maybe it makes more sense to just limit the amount of rows that we could display. So it might make more sense to like, you can like pre-compute the size of a line, and then use that to determine how many lines to render. Oh, there's a bottom up. That's probably what I want, actually. That's what I want. Because then I can just go over and who fucking cares. So I think there's eGUI, there's like a layout direction. Layout. This is probably what I'm looking for. Read the layout. Bottom up. Nice, nice, nice. So I think it can say UI with layout, eGUI layout, bottom up. And can I just take in like eGUI align default? And then I just render everything in this like bottom up section. Bing, bang, boom. Now I do have to do these backwards. So I say iter reverse. And now hopefully I should always get the most recent key instead of getting like some arbitrary view. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I think that's probably like most of the interesting part of this. I'll think about if there's like enough to do where I would want to keep going this tomorrow. Like there's obviously like some problems here, right? I want this to like, I'm probably gonna like do something like put this here, or maybe I'll want it like along the bottom or something and scrolling horizontally. Not really sure. I'll think about like what I want to do with that. Maybe I just want it like on top and like sitting over here. I don't know. We'll think about it. But we've got kind of like the interesting parts done of like setting up a simple little GUI app, no window, showing key presses. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Horizontal layout, maybe, yeah. And I think like probably like a more compressed view, as well as like I might want to keep like the most recent thing. Like if I'm like holding Control C, do I want to show that as a key combo? I definitely don't want to show it as caps lock, right? I'll think about it. I think, yeah, there's a bunch of like UI things I need to think about. So either tomorrow we'll come back and either I'll have decided that I want to keep going on this and there's enough to do, or we'll probably jump back onto like the OS dev stuff. Probably, I think what I want to do next is I want to make like all of my drivers optional so that I can like boot this at completely bare bones, and then I can start working on like maybe porting to like a real computer or something, or like other VMs. So, yeah, that's it for today. If you liked what you saw, I stream like every day at around like 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time. I have a YouTube channel where if you miss stream, you can go check out the YouTube channel, and the VODs will be up there most days as well. I have a GitHub. I should probably link. What was wrong with Screen Key and Show Me the Key? Nothing. The only reason I didn't want to do that is because it's kind of more fun to figure it out yourself, right? There was like a bunch of stuff when I was looking at them and I was like, I didn't really understand, and I wanted to understand them better, so I wanted to try this like FDev parsing thing. And also now I have like complete control over like UI and shit, which is like really what I wanted, really more what I wanted. Yeah, okay, so I have like, yeah, YouTube, Twitch, most days, 1 or 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 hours. I think somebody was asking me about a Discord the other day, so I recently just added a, how do I get to like my stream? I think I added a Discord link here as well. I don't really know if it like works. Shut up, Mick. There's like a Discord link here if you guys want to try joining that. And I should probably post my GitHub link here, but my GitHub's just the same as my Twitch. So if I go to github.com/Sorohoria, this is where my code lives, and I'll probably upload this here, what we worked on today over here at some point as well. So cool. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.